A very warm welcome to you. You're watching RT International with me, Nikki Aaron. Now, our top story this hour, Russia has a brand new government. It comes in the wake of last week's resignation of the old one as it made way for recently proposed constitutional changes. In the last hour, the new cabinet was approved by President Putin.
Congratulations on your appointment to the government. I believe this will be a very serious challenge in your lives, but at the same time, it will be a very interesting journey. I wish you all success. The whole country is behind you. The previous government created a proper foundation for further development and growth. We should use this foundation and embrace our potential to achieve national goals.
Let's find out more about the new lineup now and cross live to our correspondent Igor Zhdanov. Igor, good to see you. Could you run us through the changes to the cabinet, please?
Well, sure. The Russian President Vladimir Putin, he met with the Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin, and the new government was unveiled to the public all over the world. But mostly it is the Russians who were interested to see what changes. And those were, I should say, quite sizable changes. The Russian government did get a proper shake up. For instance, some 13 people could not find place in the new cabinet unveiled by Mikhail Mishustin. So that's a big deal for the Russian government. It is a big deal. But the familiar faces, the heavyweights, the veterans of the trade, I should say, they stayed, I have to say. For instance, Russia's top diplomat, Sergei Lavrov, he is staying, so all the Western partners, they won't be needing to get used to a new face. There's a familiar one that will be doing all the talking on Russia's behalf. Also, Russia's chief policeman kept his job as well, as did Russia's war chief Sergei Shoigu. He is staying, he's keeping his ministerial job as well. Now, as for those who lost their positions, they were mostly people designated with fixing Russia's internal policies, and largely the former government was viewed as it was rather unpopular, and the changes show that it has grown unpopular with the president too. For instance, it was heavily criticized for failing to deliver on Vladimir Putin's key internal policies, for failing to put them forward, for failing to realize them and bring them to life. So we'll see how the new cabinet fares. Now, this whole thing, just a bit of background here, this whole thing happened last Wednesday when, after Vladimir Putin made an address to the Federal Assembly, the whole Russia's government decided to resign. It announced its resignation. So all these days, Russia's President Vladimir Putin appointed Mikhail Mishustin to be the new prime minister, and all these days the country was in anticipation as to who will be picked. Will it be a completely new government? Will some older faces, will some familiar faces stay there as well? Well, now we can see, and it'll surely be interesting to follow up on how the new government fares, especially when it comes to, on the key focuses, on the key challenges that is facing right now, and that is bringing up the Russian citizens, bringing up the average wealth of a Russian citizen, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely, it will be interesting indeed. Igor Zhdanov, thank you for those details.